My name is Harold Jenkins, but everyone calls me Harry. I'm 68 years old, retired from the post office after 42 years, and for the last 15, I've lived for one person, my daughter, Sophie. Sophie was always my sunshine. When her mother left us when she was 8, it was just the two of us against the world. I worked double shifts to put her through college. When she wanted to start that little boutique that went bust, I cashed in my retirement bonds. When she wrecked her car, I bought her a new one. When she and Mark wanted to travel Europe to find themselves, I paid for the flights, the hotels, the whole thing. Every time she called with that bright "Daddy" on the phone, my heart melted and my wallet opened. That's just what fathers do, isn't it? This year was special. Sophie was turning 40. 40! My little girl, all grown up. I started planning 8 months ago. I rented the back room at La Bella Vista, the fanciest Italian restaurant in town, the one with the vineyard view. I booked the jazz trio she loves. I paid deposits on flowers, a 3-tiered chocolate raspberry cake, and a photographer. I even flew in her old college friends from Seattle, Denver, and Miami. I kept it all secret. Every time she asked what I was doing, I'd just smile and say, "Don't you worry, princess." The total came to just over $18,000. I took it from the savings I'd been building for a little cabin by the lake, my dream for when I got too old to mow the lawn. But Sophie's happiness was worth more than any cabin. I wanted her to feel like the most loved woman in the world. The party was set for Saturday night. On Friday morning, I was at home wrapping the final gift, a gold locket with a photo of us from her graduation, when my phone buzzed. Sophie. "Daddy, quick question about tomorrow." Me. "Shoot, princess." Sophie. "We're doing a small private thing with real family tomorrow night. Please don't come. It's just immediate circle only. Love you." I stared at the screen for a full minute. My thumb hovered over the keyboard, but nothing came out. Real family? I was her only family. I raised her alone for 32 years. I paid for everything. What did real even mean? I told myself it was a mistake. Maybe she was stressed. Maybe Mark had planned something small and she didn't want to hurt my feelings. I decided to surprise her anyway. Show up with a smile and the cake, and everyone would laugh about the mix-up. That night, I couldn't sleep. At 2 a.m., I opened Instagram. Sophie had posted a story. A selfie with Mark in front of La Bella Vista, captioned, "Can't wait for tomorrow. Best husband ever." My restaurant, my view, my jazz trio playing softly in the background. I scrolled further. Her college friends had already arrived, posting photos from the airport with hashtags like #SophieTurns40, #FamilyForever. One by one, the stories poured in. The flowers I ordered, the cake with "Happy 40th Sophie" in perfect cursive, the photographer snapping candids. Everyone was there. Everyone except me. At 7 p.m. on Saturday, while I sat on my couch in the same clothes I'd worn all day, Sophie posted a video, Mark giving a tearful toast about the love of my life and the family who means everything to us. The camera panned across the room. 32 people laughing, clapping, raising glasses. My friends from the post office were there, people I'd invited and paid flights for. Even Aunt Linda from Seattle, who I put up in the hotel. They all looked so happy. And there I was, alone in my living room, watching on a phone screen. On Monday morning, the credit card statement arrived. $18,427.63. The final payment for the venue, the bar tab, the extra desserts they'd ordered, all on the emergency card I'd given Sophie, just in case. I sat at the kitchen table, the same table where Sophie used to do her homework, and stared at the numbers. 15 years of sacrifices flashed before my eyes. The vacations I never took, the new truck I never bought, the lake cabin that would never be mine, all for a daughter who decided I wasn't real family. I picked up the phone to call her, to ask why, to hear her explain. But before I dialed, another notification popped up. Sophie had posted an album, 87 professional photos. She looked radiant. Mark looked proud. Everyone looked like they belonged. Except there wasn't a single empty chair where a father might have sat. Something inside me snapped. not with anger, but with a cold, clear calm I hadn't felt in years. I opened my banking app. I canceled the emergency credit card. I removed Sophie as an authorized user on every account. I called my lawyer, Mr. Patel, who I'd used when I made my will years ago. "Harry," he said, surprised to hear from me, "everything okay?" "I need to change my will," I told him. "Everything goes to the children's hospital now, and I want to sell the lake property, the one I was saving for the cabin. I'm buying the cabin today." That afternoon, I drove to the real estate office and put a deposit on a beautiful little cedar cabin on Blue Lake. 2 bedrooms, wraparound porch, dock for fishing, exactly what I'd always wanted. I paid cash from the land sale. Sophie called on Tuesday, voice bubbly as ever. "Daddy, the party was amazing. You should have seen it. Where were you? I texted you not to come, but I thought you'd at least call." I let her talk. When she finally paused, I said quietly, "Sophie, I saw everything. On Instagram. It looked wonderful." A long silence. "Oh, well, it was just supposed to be immediate family, you know? Mark's parents, my close friends. And the emergency card worked great, I see." Another silence. "Daddy, about that, we'll pay you back, I promise. Things are just tight right now with a new car payment." I interrupted. "Daddy," but I interrupted. "Sophie, emergency card." "There is no emergency card anymore. I canceled it, and I removed you from all my accounts." "What? Daddy, you can't be serious. We've bills, the photographer still has a balance, and—" "Sophie," I interrupted, my voice steady, "you told me not to come to your party because I wasn't real family. Well, real family doesn't pay for parties they're not invited to. Real family doesn't finance lives that don't include them. I'm done." She started crying, those big dramatic tears she'd perfected as a teenager. "You're being cruel. This is just like when Mom left. You push everyone away." I almost laughed. "Sophie, I didn't push anyone away. You locked the door and threw the party without me. I'm just respecting your wishes." Mark got on the phone next, angry and entitled. "Harry, this is insane. You can't cut us off like this. We're your family. What about when you're old and need help?" I thought about the cabin waiting for me, the quiet mornings fishing, the jazz records I could finally play without worrying about someone needing money. "Mark," I said, "I needed help throwing my daughter a party. You didn't need me there. I think we're even." They showed up at my house 2 days later, Sophie crying, Mark yelling, demanding I act like a father. They brought Mark's parents, who looked embarrassed but said things like, "Harry, think about your legacy." I let them talk for 10 minutes and handed them a printed copy of the Instagram album. Every photo, every smile, every toast. "Look closely. That's your party. That's your family. Enjoy the memories. They cost me $18,427.63. I hope they were worth it." Sophie reached for me, tears streaming. "Daddy, please, we made a mistake. We can have another party just for you." "No, thank you," I said. "I'm having my own party now, at my new cabin, this weekend. Just me, a bottle of good whiskey, and the lake. No guests required." They left defeated. Sophie texted apologies for weeks, then demands, then silence. 3 months later, I sit on my porch every morning, watching the sunrise over Blue Lake. I bought a little boat. I played jazz as loud as I want. I've made friends with the couple next door, retired teachers who invite me for coffee just because they like my stories, not my wallet. Yesterday, Sophie called, not to ask for money, just to say she saw photos of the cabin online. I had posted a few, and it looked nice. Her voice was small, almost shy. Maybe we could visit sometime." I thought about it, about the little girl who used to fall asleep on my shoulder, about the woman who decided I wasn't real family. "Maybe," I said, "but only if you bring dessert. And only if you knock. This is my home now, my rules." I hung up before she could answer. Some nights, I sit on the dock with my whiskey and look at the stars. I spent 15 years buying love that was never for sale. I threw the best party anyone could ask for, and finally learned I didn't need to be invited to enjoy my own life. The day I stopped paying was the day I finally became priceless. If you liked my story, share it with someone who needs to hear that it's okay to choose yourself. And tell me in the comments, what would you have done in my place? I read every single one. Until next time, Harry.